disruptive.
Weird thing to happen.
So this was kind of surprising. From the Associated Press, tens of thousands of protesters took to the streets of Nepal's capital to vent their anger against the decision by authorities to block most social media platforms, saying that the companies had failed to register and submit to government oversight. So there's massive protests breaking out in Nepal because their government overrid social media platforms that wouldn't comply to the government. That kind of sounds familiar. Kind of sounds like something I've heard in this kind of region. Kind of on the terms of, Bill C-11, C-18, C-19, C-63, kind of that territory. I wonder if it's foreshadowing something. So they stated that police in Kathmandu opened fire Monday on protesters demonstrating against a government ban on social media, killing at least 17 people and wounding 145, officials say. Well, thank God, because nothing harms more people than a post on the internet. So let's go out there and crack the heads of the protesters. That's going to work in favor. That's going to work in favor of the government. Let's crack the heads of protesters to protect you from posts online. Just like how we're protecting you from COVID by smashing your grandmother's face onto the pavement. Always works great. The death toll, as announced by police official Sekar Kanal, he said that 28 police officers were among the wounded as smaller protests continued into late Monday evening. Rallies swept the streets of Kathmandu around the Parliament building, which was surrounded by tens of thousands of people angry over the decision by authorities to block most social media platforms, including Facebook, X, and YouTube. Officials say that the companies had failed to register and submit to government oversight. Protesters pushed through barbed wire and forced riot police into retreat inside the Parliament complex. Police eventually opened fire at the protesters. The situation remained tense at the government, and the government announced a curfew for Monday around Parliament, the government's secretariat, presidential house, and key parts of the city. Seven of those killed and scores of wounded were received at the National Trauma Center, the country's main hospital located in the heart of Kathmandu. Many of them are in serious condition and appear to have been shot in the head and chest, said Dr. Badri Risal, a physician. Families waited anxiously outside for the news of their relatives while people lined up to donate blood. Stop the ban on social media. Stop corruption, not social media. The crowds outside Parliament chanted, waving the red and blue national flags. Monday's rally was called the protest of Gen Z, or Gen Z, if you like to call it, generally referring to the people born between 1995 and 2010. So that's very, very, it shows a lot there. That the whole reason why they're doing all this emphasis on censorship, it's not there to protect you folks. It's not there to protect anybody. They claim that, we're helping the kids, that, we got to ban TikTok because of Chinese surveillance, or we got to, crack down on people on X because, cyber bullies are out there, or we got to crack people on Facebook because of scammers. Whatever they say is not the ultimate answer. Whatever they say is not the reason behind censorship. The reason that they're censoring people is exactly what they stated there. It's about keeping the corruption alive. It's because they don't want people to find out the truth. They don't want people to, release the information. They don't want the keyboard warriors, as, the UK police would say. They want to crack down on people and keep people complacent and quiet about certain subjects. They don't want people to be informed about immigration. They don't want people to be informed about foreign affairs. They don't want people to be informed about taxes. They don't want people to be informed about their leaders and their corruption. They don't want to be informed about why their society is tanking. Hence why they're cracking down on social media platforms and banning them from society and telling you that they're doing this for your safety. How many times have you heard that before and it goes well for society? That we got to protect you by silencing you, by censoring you, by cutting the word of mouth from the general public. Tell me at any point in time that censorship works for humanity. It doesn't. It doesn't whatsoever. So here's this. Kathmandu, Nepal, protesters climb over police barricades as they stage a massive protest against the ban on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp and other social media sites. And you can see, look at the people here. The mass amount of crowds in the streets. So now they're breaking down the barricade. And look, now the cops are going in and beating up the people. Look at that. See a bit more of this. A lot of people on the streets. A lot of people, a lot of protests, a lot of civil unrest. Boy, I wonder if Trump's new Defense of War, Department of War. It used to be the Department of Defense, but hey, since when did we ever defend anything? I wonder if the Department of War is going to look at this and think that people of Kathmandu should get some democracy. Because I know we're going after Venezuela for that. We're going to give them democracy. One more time. We're going to finally give those people democracy and take their oil. Oops, did I say that out loud? Socialism bad. But I wonder if they're going to make any noise about this. I wonder if they're going to say anything about this. That, hey, they're banning social media accounts. I wonder if anything's going to be done about that. Probably not. Because let's face it, a lot of these governments, a lot of the institutions of the West also want the same thing. That's why we have certain bills in this country here in Canada, the Online Harms Act, that is going to do exactly what we're seeing in the UK, what we're seeing all across different areas that are doing more harm to people than good. They like to claim that it's, for the benefit of children, that we got to bar people from social media. We can't have people posting things to information to other people. We can't have exposure to government corruption because we're protecting the children. It's about the children. Would someone please think about the children? That's why you can't post news stories on Facebook. That's why you can't go, mention to people about Mark Carney and where he came from and the history of the Carney family. You can't mention about that. You can't mention about the election. You can't mention, because it's about the children. It's about the children. It's about the country. We got to do everything we can to silence Canadians to protect Canada. Okay. Anytime I hear those arguments, anytime I hear people cheering for censorship, the only thing I could say, the only real argument to really make about it is, you know, you take any point of human history, any point of human history that they try to put censorship onto people, because they tried numerous times throughout human history. When has it ever worked for people? When has it ever worked? When has censorship ever worked for the greater mass of people? Name me a time. It hasn't. That's why people are up in arms. That's why people are protesting, because they know when they ban people from social media, it's far darker than what it appears to be. It's not, you know, for the safety of kids. It's not for the, you know, to secure people from misinformation, disinformation, because we know that the misinformation, disinformation comes from the government. The biggest portrayers of spreading misinformation and conspiring against people is the government. The second is the mainstream media that's peddling the government messaging to the audience. And a very, 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 very long-steaded way in third place is randos on the internet. But that's a long distance, a very long distance from the government and the establishment coordinating together to make up these narratives, to manufacture consent for the worst of the worst. And that's why they want to censor people, because they don't want the corruption to be exposed. When people know about things, they become more powerful. Knowledge is the key to power. Why do you think people like J. Edgar Hoover, who was a cross-dresser, who worked at the FBI, become such a powerful figure back in the day? Because he had information on everybody. He has information on everybody. Just like the people that control the Epstein narrative. The reason they don't want that released is because that information is powerful. Knowing who's involved in what trafficking, who's involved with these crimes, who's involved with, you know, manufacturing these NGOs that are gathering people in trafficking, human smuggling, you know, child sex slaving. That is powerful information that they don't want leaked out to the general public. So, kudos to the people of Nepal for making your voice heard. And it's just amazing that you're probably not going to hear this anywhere on mainstream networks, anywhere in the West. Even though I would argue that UK, Canada, and America could learn something from Nepal and maybe take action to their own streets, because it's happening to them. It's happening to them right in front of their eyes. Hey, here at Kitz Corner, we want to thank you, our viewers and our subscribers that tune into Kitz Corner for the latest dives in trending news, political conspiracies, and the craziest of stories. However, being in this business isn't an easy job. Because we're independent, we can dive into stories that the mainstream outlets are afraid to do so. But unfortunately, that doesn't give us the luxury of big advertising or government subsidies. That's why we reach out to you. You can support Kitz Corner and get some cool new threads in the process. Say what? That's right, check out our merch store, where we have a big selection of t-shirts, mugs, stickers, sweaters, bags, and more. All with interesting designs too, like this True North Strong and Free. So if you want to show off your support, go to our website at kitzcorner.net. That's kitzcorner.net. And click the store link at the top of the screen. Or you can scan the QR code provided on screen to get instant access to our merch store. Your support makes a huge difference at what we do here. So why not wear your support too? So go to kitzcorner.net or scan the QR code on your screen to get to our one-of-a-kind Kitz Corner merchandise store. Thank you.